Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we try to cut through the noise and get you truly well-informed.
That's the goal.
Today, we're plunging into a story that, honestly, it perfectly captures the sometimes dizzying pace of innovation and maybe valuation in the Web3 and AI world. We're talking about Zyber 365. Now, this is a company that basically burst onto the scene May 2023 and astonishingly claimed unicorn status. That's a $1.2 billion valuation in just 3 months.
3 months. Wow.
Yeah. They got the title India's fastest unicorn. It's, a narrative that immediately grabs your attention.
It absolutely does. And our mission today is really to go beyond just those headlines, beyond Zyber 365's official story.
Right.
We're going to systematically compare what they claim is their big vision against, independent analyses and whatever evidence is out there.
Okay.
The idea is to spot any discrepancies, connect the dots, and hopefully give you a really solid understanding, especially if you're interested in Web3 or, startup investing.
So when Zyber 365 first appeared, how did they actually position themselves? What was the pitch, the grand vision?
Well, they came out strong, positioned themselves as pioneers, right? The cutting edge of Web3 and AI.
Okay.
Big focus on cybersecurity and, interestingly, quantum proofing. Their grand vision, they talked about spearheading globalization 3.0.
Globalization 3.0?
Yeah, and developing a, quote, sustainable AI chain for a cybersecure Web3 OS. Sounds pretty ambitious, right?
Incredibly ambitious.
And what's really striking is just how broad, how sophisticated their product roadmap sounded.
Okay, like what?
Well, for instance, a core thing they mentioned was an AI-powered smart contract auditing platform.
Auditing. That's crucial in crypto.
Exactly. Designed for all EVM-compatible blockchains. So think Ethereum and similar ones.
Right.
And this platform, they claimed, could find hidden vulnerabilities. Stuff like reentrancy attacks, where someone can keep withdrawing funds improperly.
Yeah, I've heard of those. Nasty exploit.
Very nasty. And also integer overflows, where numbers basically get too big for the system to handle correctly. It also claimed to optimize gas usage, use formal verification methods, even develop machine learning models to automatically spot bugs based on past exploits.
Wow, that's a lot for one platform.
It is, and they listed applications everywhere. AI, stablecoins, DeFi, insurance, even Web3 gaming.
And it didn't just stop with the auditing platform, did it? What else was on this roadmap?
Oh, no, not at all. Beyond auditing, they were talking comprehensive blockchain infrastructure.
Meaning?
Layer 0, Layer 1. They even projected a mainnet going live by May 2024 and Layer 2 solutions for, scalability and getting chains to work together.
So the whole stack, basically.
Pretty much. And the list kept going. Decentralized identities, data analytics tools, web browsers, NFT marketplaces.
And NFT marketplaces, too. Okay.
Yeah, for non-fungible tokens, those unique digital assets.
Right.
And even future plans for things like a non-custodial DeFi wallet and, get this, AI cashless stores at pumps.
AI cashless stores at petrol pumps.
That's what they said.
Okay. The sheer ambition, the breadth of all these offerings, especially for a company just founded in May 2023, it's genuinely striking.
It really is. Developing just one of these complex solutions usually takes years. Years of intense R&D, big teams.
Right.
Yet the company's reported employee counts, they varied quite a bit. Sometimes reported as low as 1, other times up to maybe 180 total.
Quite a range.
Yeah. And that disparity, between these huge product claims and the apparent size of the team, it immediately raises some question.
It does make you pause.
Right. It makes you wonder how much of the narrative in Web3 and AI today is built on these incredibly ambitious white papers and compelling stories versus, the actual team and tech foundation.
Okay, so let's definitely unpack this. The headline grabber, the really eye-catching part, was that super fast jump to unicorn status. That came after a reported $100 million Series A funding round. And this investment, supposedly, it came from a UK-based group called SRAM and MRAM, and that funding apparently pushed them to the $1.2 billion valuation by July 2023.
Just a couple of months after founding.
Exactly. And initially, some sources, I think PitchBook was one, seemed to back this up. They confirmed the funding amount and the investor.
They did, yeah. PitchBook data showed the $100 million and SRAM and MRAM as the investor.
But?
And this is a big but. Here's where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
So SRAM and MRAM Group, they present themselves as this large, diversified global conglomerate established way back in 1995. Sounds impressive.
Sounds very established.
But independent sources, they paint a very, very different picture. TrackN, for example, it's a well-known business intelligence platform. They describe SRAM and MRAM as an unfunded company. And an associated legal entity is listed as Deadpooled.
Unfunded. Deadpool. That doesn't sound like a conglomerate investing $100 million.
Not really. And it gets worse. An investigation by tech in Asia, they dug deeper and raised some serious questions. They indicated the group was involved in at least 2 fraud lawsuits in the U.S.
Wow.
And its chairman apparently faced questions about his past convictions in Hong Kong and New Zealand.
Okay, that puts a huge question mark over the funding source itself.
Absolutely. It's not just a minor detail. It casts a pretty substantial shadow on the legitimacy of that entire $100 million investment claim. It's a stark reminder, really, that you need to scrutinize the investor, not just the investment amount.
Definitely. So beyond the questionable funding source, what about the valuation number itself, that $1.2 billion? Did independent analysis, maybe from Inc.42, look into the math?
Yeah, Inc.42 did. And they pointed out a pretty significant mathematical issue.
Okay.
If that $100 million investment actually bought the reported 20.6% stake, well, do the math. The implied total valuation comes out to around $485 million.
$485 million, not $1.2 billion.
Exactly. As Inc.42 put it, that's not even half the size for a unicorn.
Yeah, a unicorn is $1 billion.
Precisely. So it raises a really fundamental question. Where did that $1.2 billion figure actually come from? What's the real basis for it? And adding to the confusion, the Indian entity, Zyber 365 Technologies Private Limited, reportedly had very low authorized share capital, just 15 lakh rupees, and even lower paid-up capital, only 1 lakh rupees, as of July 2023.
That's tiny for a supposed unicorn.
It is. And for financial data. The report said, no reports available, which directly contradicts PitchBook classifying them as stage-generating revenue.
Okay, so the money trail, the valuation, it seems riddled with inconsistencies and red flags.
To say the least.
So what about the products then? If the funding and valuation looks shaky, did they actually build any of that amazing tech they described on their website? Those detailed descriptions implied something existed or was about to launch?
Well, this is where it gets fascinating again, because you see a direct contradiction. Independent investigative reports, these came out around August 2023, just a month after the unicorn announcement. They explicitly stated that Zyber 365 currently has 0 products to offer.
0 products.
0 products. They said the company was merely thinking of building products and had only published a white paper.
But the website descriptions were so detailed.
Exactly. These reports noted the website had been undergoing development until recently, and then it was updated with that comprehensive product timeline. But even after the update, the investigators found no tangible product.
So the website described things that just didn't exist.
That's what the independent reports strongly suggest. It really highlights how, in these fast-moving tech sectors, sometimes the idea or the vision can get valued far, far ahead of any actual tangible product or market fit.
A great story, but maybe not much foundation yet.
Seems like it could be the case here. A great vision definitely needs a great foundation to stand on.
Okay, so if there were no tangible products, then presumably no real customers either, no revenue. Did the reports find any evidence of actual usage? Big clients using these supposed AI auditing platforms or blockchain solutions?
Nope. A complete absence of specific case studies, client testimonials, anything directly attributable to Zyber 365 actually delivering these services.
Nothing verifiable.
Nothing. Reports specifically mentioned a lack of information on customers, no identifiable revenue streams. If you find any product reviews online, they tend to be just generic descriptions of features, likely pulled from the website itself, not actual feedback from users.
So a big gap between the public story and the operational reality.
A significant gap, it appears.
But the strange thing is the market needs these solutions, right? I mean, cybersecurity threats are definitely escalating. You see headlines all the time.
Oh, absolutely. The demand is real. You mentioned ransomware against industrial organizations. Reports show an 87% increase just in 2024. That's huge.
And AI is transforming everything. Smart contract auditing is genuinely a critical growing field in Web3. There's a real need.
It's definitely a real need.
Yeah.
But if we connect that back to Zyber 365, despite this clear market demand, the report saying 0 products and the lack of verifiable customers, it really starts to look like a potential vaporware situation.
Vaporware meaning software or hardware that's announced but never actually delivered.
Essentially, yes. Or exists only in promotional material. Their valuation, their public image, it seems like it might have been built entirely on the idea of tackling these high-demand problems rather than on actual existing products or any real revenue.
So what does this all actually add up to then? What were the conclusions or allegations that started to emerge from these investigations?
Well, it's a pretty serious allegation surfaced.
Yeah.
One source suggested the entire unicorn story might just be a paid media gimmick.
A paid gimmick.
Yeah, asserting flat out that the company has no sales or even a product. And the consistency of these concerns across different reports is really striking. It wasn't just one source raising flags.
Right.
And beyond the product and the financial side, questions also popped up about founder backgrounds.
Oh, like what?
Well, Pearl Kapoor, who was publicized as India's youngest billionaire at 27 following this.
Right, that was part of the media splash.
It was. But then a critical comment surfaced, apparently in a public forum, pointing out a kind of impossible discrepancy in one of the official filings. It allegedly listed her as having 20 years experience.
20 years experience
So,
at age 27.
doesn't quite add up, does it? Now, this could be a typo, an error, who knows? But that kind of inconsistency in stated biographical details, especially after everything else, it's another red flag. It makes you question the overall accuracy of the information being presented.
Yeah, it really feels like an interconnected web of, well, red flags, alarming signals maybe.
It really does seem that way.
Yep.
You've got the documented history of fraud lawsuits and the unfunded status connected to their only known Series A investor.
Right.
You've got the apparent absence of tangible products, despite detailed claims. You've got the mathematical hole in the $1.2 billion valuation.
The founder experience discrepancy.
Exactly. It all reinforces this pattern of potential, maybe even deliberate misrepresentation. And it raises a really important question for everyone interested in this space. What kind of impact do cases like this, or alleged cases like this, have on trust? Especially in these rapidly growing Web3 and AI sectors where hype can sometimes outpace reality.
That's a critical question. So wrapping this up, today we've taken a real deep dive into the, let's say, compelling narrative of Zyber 365. We unpacked their really ambitious claims, pioneering Web3 and AI cybersecurity, achieving that $1.2 billion unicorn status almost overnight.
The great story on the surface.
But we've also laid out the independent findings, the counter-narrative, reports of zero products despite those detailed website descriptions, a mathematically inconsistent valuation, and pretty serious questions about the financial legitimacy and legal history of their sole known Series A investor.
Yeah, and our goal here, as always, is to help you navigate this world that's just awash in information and sometimes misinformation.
Right.
This case, I think, really underscores the absolute critical importance of rigorous independent due diligence. Don't just take the press release at face value.
Sound advice.
It reminds all of us, I think, to prioritize things you can verify, actual product market fit, consistent revenue, if it exists, genuine customer adoption. Put those ahead of the media narratives and the aspirational claims, especially in these super fast-moving tech markets.
So dig deeper than the headlines.
Always. Scrutinize funding sources rigorously. Verify founder credentials independently if you can. Look for the substance behind the story.
So thinking about this whole story, what really stands out to you about how easily it seems a compelling narrative can overshadow verifiable reality, especially in a booming market like Web3 or AI?
Yeah.
It's just a powerful reminder, isn't it, to always look beyond the surface.